So a lot of you know that I am not a Mac guy. I have tried using a MacBook Pro to edit most of my videos, but over and over again I've found myself gravitating towards this piece of beautiful architecture right here. PCs, computers, building them, gaming on them, video editing on them. I am through and through a PC guy. I do appreciate people who use Macs because it has insane productivity. I do understand that and I accept that. But the fact that I can, run 4K 120 frames per second while playing my favorite game and also edit my 4K videos on the same machine just speaks out more to me. And this has been working great for a long time now until a couple of weeks ago. What exactly happened? What is this title that you guys read for today's video? Let's find out, and let's find out. What seems to be the issue? Well, for most of you guys that are following me for a long time now, you guys know that my main PC on which all of the videos that you guys see are being edited on right now, this was a PC that I built back in 2017. I've also made a couple of videos on the channel, and while I have upgraded the graphics card from time to time, we went from a 1080 Ti to currently on an RTX 2070 or a 2060 Super. The fact of the matter is the processor and the motherboard are really aged, which is why I'm actually having hiccups with the editing process, something I never thought I'd have to face for at least the next 4 to 5 years. But what exactly is happening? Let's find out. Right, so here's the deal, guys. As you guys can see, this right here is the computer. And before we talk about the problems that I am facing, let's just talk about what current specs we are running on. So we've got an Asus X370 Prime motherboard on here with 16 gigs of Avexor RGB RAM, along with the Ryzen 1700, that's right, the first generation Ryzen processor, along with a GeForce RTX 2060 Super. This is the Founders Edition, straight from the guys over at Nvidia. As far as storage is concerned, we're running on a Samsung 250GB SSD. This is not NVMe. Remember, I built this back in 2017. And we've got the stock cooler along with a 1TB hard disk. And you guys might be wondering that is pretty underpowered, but I still find a method to edit videos on this even to this day. But here's what the problem has been occurring for the last 3 videos that we've been trying to edit on this channel. Alright, so the problem that I have currently been facing seems to be the fact that this computer cannot handle full frame footage at 4K, especially when you stack it in Premiere one over the other. So we do a lot of edits here on this channel. Major props to Utkarsh for that. But from the last few videos, we've been trying to really increase our production value. These are small things, small titles, making a screen recording file look a little bit more three-dimensional by adding a drop shadow and doing whatnot. And while these things are incredibly inspiring for me to do, and it just helps me feel a little more creative, and of course I'm trying to make these videos look as good as possible. But 2 out of 3 times, and you guys won't believe this when I say this, the computer actually tried to turn itself off. In fact, not tried to, the computer turned itself off while the videos were rendering, which is why we almost missed a day of those alternate day uploads. But then again, you guys know me, I figured out a way to upload the video. I had to reduce the resolution of the final video file and remove the bitrate to a much lower bitrate than the actual bitrate. But this basically means I am compromising on quality to give you guys the content, which is not something I ever aimed on doing, nor is it something that I would, plan on doing. So this basically means that something was happening inside the computer which wasn't allowing the computer to basically render the files. And keep in mind, usually what happens is the computer stop rendering and it shows you some kind of error. That was not the case. The entire CPU, the computer was shutting down. It was powering off automatically. which is when I hopped into the BIOS and this is what I saw. I'm gonna quickly turn the computer on right now in front of you guys and show you guys what seems to be the issue. So of course, if you guys know, the BIOS is, the setup that you can run, which runs within the motherboard to see basically how your computer is doing. To enter your BIOS, it's gonna, depend from computer to computer, but right now I'm just gonna, boot my computer up and show you guys what seems to be the issue on the first run. And this is what I keep seeing every single time whenever I turn the computer on. So let's just hit delete or F2 to enter the BIOS settings, and I'll show you guys what seems to be the issue here. So once I open up the BIOS settings, as you guys can see, the main thing that I would like to focus on is the CPU temperature. Now, the CPU temperature currently, as you guys can see, is still pretty okay. It's 57 degrees Celsius, which is kind of all right if we're not nitpicking. But when I was rendering those videos and the computer was shutting itself off, the CPU temperatures were going all the way up to 90 degrees and 90 degrees Celsius, which is crazy. I mean, no way should your CPU be that hot. So what was happening was the CPU was getting too hot, which is why the motherboard and the computer was turning itself off. And this had happened before. This was not the first time this is happening. That is when I tried looking into the cooler and looking into the fan. And it feels like one of these two fans is malfunctioning, and also the computer was not clean the previous time it was happening. The CPU fan was all lodged up with dust, so I did clean it. So dirt is not the problem this time. It just seems like every time I try to do something super high end, try to push the computer to its limits, the CPU temperatures just end up increasing so much that the computer has to hard reset or turn it off. And I tried everything. I went into my fan settings, tried to crank up the speeds, but that's when I realized that this computer is severely underpowered for the stuff that I've been doing. I mean, it's a miracle that it has been able to keep up with so many new videos and so many. I love this computer. I would I'm not insulting it in any way. All I'm saying is it's super underpowered. Again, if we have a look at the specs here, this is a Ryzen 7 1700 8-core processor. It also has only 16 gigs of RAM, and both of them, the RAM sticks, two 8GB sticks from Avexia, they're running at 2133 megahertz, which is honestly speaking very, very slow, at least by today's standards. Hell, even by that day's standards. The only thing that's keeping this even workable is that RTX 2060 Super right there, which was once again sent to me by Nvidia. So I guess I have to thank Nvidia for my videos now. But otherwise, genuinely speaking, whether it is storage, whether it is the CPU power, or whether it is the RAM, everything is slowing this baby down, which is why I have taken a decision. Yes, it's as simple as building a new PC. I thought, it has been some time and we've become really serious about making content on this channel for quite some time now, which is why I've realized that the only answer to this is to build a super high-end, gaming / productivity build. I love building PCs. I built a PC recently back at my home at Calcutta, but again, that was just to pass the time and make sure my videos were getting edited while I was stuck in lockdown in my hometown. But right now, I'm gonna pull all the stops. I'm also taking suggestions when it comes to the parts that I should get. I'm thinking the Ryzen 5900X or the 5950X. That's a 16-core, 32 threads. It's absolutely insane. Then I'm also looking at the 3080 or the 3070. The 3090, I would love to get it, but as you guys know, anybody who's relatively into the PC world knows that the prices are absolutely insane. Stocks are very hard to get all over the world, let alone in India. And of course, 64 gigs of RAM. I'm talking water-cooled, CPU, no more air cooling. I know it is still more of a gimmick than an actual use, but I want to future-proof this. I want to make sure that this can edit up to 8K footage. I do not want Utkarsh to get frustrated while editing. And I also want a PC that will help me game very, very well whenever I want the option to, game on my computer. I looked into buying a top-end iMac Pro, but I feel like for the money that is going to cost me for similar specs, I could build a PC and I could also game on it. And say whatever you will, but I just happen to be a PC guy, so that's where that rounds itself up from. And also this monitor right here, this is the Acer 32-inch 4K monitor. I also plan on replacing this with another ultra-wide 4K monitor, meaning 21:9, a slightly curved display. I'm looking in from a few options from Samsung as well as from Acer itself. And yeah, if you guys have any suggestions on PC parts, if any of you PC nerds are watching this and have any tips on how I can, make this new build really do well when it comes to video editing. Gaming is not a priority. I know if a computer has, a very good processor and significant graphics power, then it will game well regardless of what parts I want. But yeah, video editing is the main priority. This is also going to be an SSD only build. We're talking M.2 SSDs. I plan on having at least 4 terabytes of storage in this PC. And of course, I'm going to be documenting it, so you guys will see the entire process of building the PC to actually using the PC, and then an extended setup tour after that. And yeah, that is why I thought to make today's video. I know this is a little unorthodox, but well, this is what I wanted to make, and I'm trying to be a little more creative with the uploads here. Hopefully you guys really enjoyed it. If you did, drop a thumbs down. Hope and pray to the PC gods that this video gets edited easily using the CPU till I get time to upgrade it. With that said, guys, this is Anubhav signing out. Hope you guys have a great day. Stay safe and peace out. Also, please wear a mask. Please.